They said it would be quick. A few strikes, a show of force, a message sent and received. That's how wars are often imagined, from a distance, on paper, inside strategy rooms filled with maps and confidence. But Iran is not a map. It is not a single target, and it is certainly not a simple victory. Because defeating Iran isn't just about military strength, it's about geography, history, ideology, and a system built to survive exactly the kind of pressure that outsiders believe will break it. To understand why Iran is so difficult to defeat, you have to start with its land. Iran is massive, not just large, but strategically vast. Mountains dominate the terrain. The Zagros Mountains stretch across the west like a natural fortress, while the Alboaz Mountains guard the north. These aren't just scenic landscapes, they are defensive barriers. Any invading force would have to fight not only an army, but the terrain itself. History has shown us time and time again, mountains don't lose wars easily. Empires have tried. Empires have failed. Then there's the population. Iran has over 80 million people, but numbers alone don't explain the challenge. What matters is how the country is structured to respond to threats. Unlike many nations that rely solely on a traditional army, Iran has layered defense systems. There's the conventional military, and then there's the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, a powerful force that operates almost like a state within a state. The IRGC isn't just a military unit, it's ideological. It's trained for asymmetrical warfare, meaning it doesn't fight like a conventional army. It adapts, it blends in, it strikes in unexpected ways. And that makes it extremely difficult to defeat using traditional military strategies. Now imagine trying to fight an enemy that doesn't fight you directly. Instead of large-scale battles, you face small, unpredictable attacks. Supply lines disrupted, bases targeted, allies attacked. That's Iran's strategy, not to overpower, but to outlast. This is what military experts call asymmetric warfare, and Iran has spent decades perfecting it. But Iran's power doesn't stop at its borders. It extends outward through a network of alliances and influence. Across the Middle East, Iran has built relationships with groups and governments that can act on its behalf. In Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and beyond, Iran's influence creates a web of strategic pressure points. This means that any conflict with Iran wouldn't stay contained. It would spread, quickly, unpredictably, and globally. Then there's the Strait, a narrow stretch of water with enormous consequences. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most important oil choke points in the world. A significant portion of global oil passes through it, and Iran sits right next to it. If conflict escalates, Iran has the ability to disrupt that flow, not necessarily permanently, but long enough to send shockwaves through the global economy. Oil prices spike, markets panic, supply chains fracture. Suddenly, the war isn't just about Iran anymore, it's about the world. Now consider the nuclear question. For years, Iran's nuclear program has been a source of tension. The International Atomic Energy Agency monitors nuclear activity, but uncertainty remains. Whether or not Iran possesses nuclear weapons isn't the only issue. The possibility alone changes everything. Because any military action must consider the risk of escalation. And escalation in this context doesn't just mean a bigger war, it means a different kind of war. But perhaps the most underestimated factor is something less tangible: resilience. Iran has faced decades of sanctions, isolation, and pressure, especially from countries like the United States. Its economy has been strained. Its people have endured hardship, and yet the system remains, not unchanged, but unbroken. Why? Because pressure has forced adaptation. Industries become self-reliant, strategies evolve, and over time, resistance becomes part of the national identity. This is where many predictions go wrong. They assume that external pressure will cause internal collapse, that people will rise up, that the system will fall from within.
But history shows that when a nation feels threatened from the outside, it often unites, at least temporarily, even among those who oppose the government, because national survival becomes the priority. And then there's time. Modern wars are rarely quick, especially against a country like Iran. What begins as a limited operation can turn into a prolonged conflict.